Welcome to the Obvious Leadership Podcast, where we dive into practical leadership insights that are, well, obvious. Your hosts have walked the talk, and now they're sharing their knowledge, strategies, and advice. Let's jump into today's episode and explore the world of leadership with your hosts, Joey and Omar.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Obvious Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Omar. We got Joey on the other line.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, Ed, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Before we could begin, be sure to hit that like and follow button so that you never miss one of our episodes. But today we want to talk about, we want to kind of keep the juiciness going from the last episode. Last episode, we were talking about some goals and why caring, at the end of the episode, pretty much it was why caring about your team is important. Today, I want to really touch on that point because I had seen a video and there was a comment on the video and it was, how can I get my team to produce more without me paying them more because I'm the boss? Yeah, I think you guys are going to have, if you've seen our podcast, if you've seen and talked to us, you know where I'm going to come from this, right? And Joy, I could already see, the wheels turning in your eyes. It's one of those. Like, guys, if you are telling your team that I'm the boss, you need to do this, you've already lost the battle. You've already lost the war.
Right.
That's not motivating your team. It doesn't matter if you're the owner. It doesn't matter if you're the manager. It doesn't matter if you're the district or the regional. That's not how you motivate teams. That's not how you motivate people to want to produce more. That's actually the single fastest way you can demotivate anybody on your team from performing at the highest level. Now, obviously, outside of sales, if you're in sales, you can help produce more without needing to pay them more technically, because you're not paying them more per hour, you're paying them more per sell, right? So the more they sell, the better it is for them. But once again, you can demotivate your team from wanting to sell more. And why the hell am I going to stay around an organization where the boss doesn't even care about me as a person, right? Because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a work-life balance. Do I feel comfortable and safe at this workplace, or do I need to find my next spot because this guy just isn't cutting it, or this person just isn't cutting it, and they're just like making my life a living hell while they're kicking back and watching YouTube videos on their phone in the office? Right, what do you think, Joey?
Man, so there's a saying, and I think we can maybe twist it a little bit for this, but nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
100%
and
agree.
It could definitely be, if I'm an employee's perspective, I don't care who you are until I know how much you care, right? And in that perspective, right, nobody's motivated, I guess, until you both are motivated to get to the same result. Right. If you both are wanting to get there in the same way and you want to uphold what that person cares about and they want to uphold what you care about and you're both marching in the same direction, I think you'll definitely get there a lot faster. And I think everybody else would be more cohesive.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny. Last episode, I know we talked about the shirt I was wearing, Dragon Ball, right? This time I'm wearing an all-for-one shirt, or not an all-for-one, right? But what is it? My Hero Academia. There we go. And one of the main villains, I haven't seen all of it, so excuse me, guys. I'm not that big of a fan. I like it. I haven't seen all of it yet. So let me know what I'm missing out in the comments. But obviously, the main villain, right, is all for one, right? Pretty much. And the main antagonist, his power is called one for all. Kind of confusing, right? But if you think of it from a leadership perspective, if you're the leader that's saying it's all for one, produce everything you can for me to get the recognition, for me to get everything, that's essentially the mindset. Whereas, a servant leader or a leader that wants to actually make sure their team is taken care of is going to be a one for all. That one individual is going to try to take care of their team and their specific needs to ensure that they can perform at their highest output possible without stretching them thin. Because at the end of the day, guys, this is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but If I got a team member that is a great producer, but they haven't taken a vacation in a while, I need you to take a vacation. I need you to, be able to free up that mind a little bit and detach, because when you come back, you're going to be refreshed. You're going to be far more creative, and your performance, if you thought you were doing great before, the performance that you're going to output once you get back from that vacation, from being able to just detach, is going to blow your mind, because it's like a muscle, right? If Joanne, we've talked about this, you've been to the gym before. If you're constantly going to the gym and you don't do a week of rest periods to allow your muscles to be able to recharge and grow back stronger, you're doing your body a disservice. You're not actually going to be able to get to that level that you're thinking about, because you're overworking your body, right? Or am I wrong?
No, I mean 100%, man. I think one of the things that I used to do is I used to work out the same muscle every other day, right? And that was the routine I had gotten into. And every once in a while, I would do PRs, right, and or uh, one rep maxes, right? And what I found out was that if I didn't work out that muscle for a week, and I come back and try to do it, of course I'd have my warm up set, but I was so refreshed that like I didn't think I could pump as much as I could up off with that weight on there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was interesting, and I just stumbled upon that. I don't know what happened, but it's just one of those things where your mind kind of works the same way. Like if you're stuck in the same routine, yes, you're good at it. Yes, you're doing great. You're pumping out those numbers, but like when you take that break, you come back refreshed, and also you might have a different perspective that you can add to your success that was getting to before you took your break, right? So like
Yeah.
it's not just about taking that break just to kind of debug, or however you want to say it, right?
No,
But
yeah. And like, here's the thing, guys. Taking care of your team isn't just saying, hey, Joey, you need to take a vacation, right? It goes into a lot more. But the biggest thing is the mindset that you see yourself. So when you look in the mirror, are you saying, hey, I'm the boss, they're going to do exactly what I say because I'm the person in charge? Or are you saying, all right, how can I help my team be able to be the best that they can? Obviously, as a team, they work as a unit, and individually, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Everybody takes things in differently than another person. So you can't use the same tone. You can't use the same language. You can't use the same verbiage as you would one team member to the other, because they're not you. That person is, a different individual than the rest of their team members are. So what leader are you? Are you taking the time to understand who your team is so that you can be able to take care of everybody, to actually be able to grow and flourish and grow within the organization and outside of the organization? Because that growth is where you're going to see so much back in dividends. And here's the thing, if you're an employer who's scared, or if you're a manager, a leader who's scared of losing people because I've developed them so much and we just don't have enough opportunity for them to grow within our organization, I'm afraid that they're going to leave us. One, good, you're afraid. That's a good thing. That means you care about the people you got on your staff, on payroll. And two, if they leave, that's not a bad thing. If they leave your team to go to another team in the organization to grow, that just puts you up in a good spotlight. And we've talked about this before, Joey, where now you get seen as a leader that's developing others. If they leave your organization to go somewhere else, you've taken care of them, and they're going to remember that. And one of the things that employers love the most, you hate to see it, but you love it when they do it, is boomerang employees, right? If you haven't heard the term, a boomerang employee is an employee that left and comes back. They know the company culture. It takes less time to get them up and running, to get them familiar with a lot of like the nuances that the company has and the processes. And they already know typically a lot of people, so they already have the networking needed. So it gets everything up and running a lot faster. They're willing to come back if those opportunities arise with the organization, meaning you're growing and now you have opportunity for them. If you've had a really good relationship, you've probably stayed in contact with them, so you can reach out to them and, hey Joey, I know you left us a couple of years back, but just want to let you know we have some new opportunities that are popping up in the organization. Just wanted to see if you or anybody you know might be interested in applying, and this is what we have. Oh,
yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely you've already set that impression on that employee, right? And they go somewhere else, and we're in Texas. The grass isn't greener anywhere. If we look around over here, right? But sometimes there might be something that's attracting them to over there, or there was an opportunity for growth, and you've developed that person to be a leader, and there wasn't a leadership position available in your organization, right? But they went over there, but they got that experience, and they couldn't wait to come back, right? And I mean, those are the best employees to stay in touch with.
Yeah, because they enjoy the organization, they want to come back, and they're going to perform. There is nothing wrong with employees leaving for better opportunities that you're not able to offer them at that moment. Because there is nothing shittier than a company that says, "Oh, you want to leave, Joey? Why are you leaving? Oh, because that company is offering you $20,000 more for the same role. Well, we can offer you $20,000 more. Well, no shit. If you had offered me that in the beginning, I wouldn't be leaving now, would I?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, that's a whole different conversation, right?
I mean, they may not even stay if you offer them 50,000 if the leadership is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you have to realize that sometimes as a leader, right, you are not your organization, right? And sometimes your hands are tied when it comes to things like pay. Sometimes it's not always up to you, but it's your job to make sure you train up that person. But like I've said before, if that person is being promoted to somewhere else, more than likely you haven't just grown one person, you've grown multiple members of that team to that kind of level. And if they leave, you're not going to see a big gap in the performance. You're going to have people that step in and to kind of uphold your performance, and you're going to be able to bring somebody else up while they're holding down the fort.
Oh yeah. Hell, I mean, that person that left may have referred somebody for, to be able to take over the position because they enjoy the company so much. And here's the thing, or somebody else on the team has somebody, or somebody else is being referred because that team is such a high performing team. And referrals are always the best kind of employees or interviewers that you can have, right? Candidates,
right?
Because somebody is sticking their neck out for them to apply and putting their stamp of approval on this individual. And if that person is a person that has a very good work ethic, has performed in the organization, then obviously you're not going to take that lightly. And that person doesn't want the other individual to look bad. And that's where you have a lot of your like social psychology that will come into play when that. And that's a completely different topic that, I mean, we can do an entire course, and that would just barely scratch the surface on that particular topic. But guys, do not be afraid to let your team know that as a leader, you value them and you want them to be able to perform. And don't be afraid to ask them, how can I help you guys so that we as a team and everybody included in the organization, the team, can perform at a higher level. You would be surprised at some of the simple things that might be asked that is within your power to be able to offer and be able to do, or some of the small little changes that you can adjust and tweak to be able to help everybody perform at their highest output level.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you said something earlier, you were talking about recognition and things like that. Recognition is not, hey, thank you for doing that task that I asked you to do. Right. That's not showing. It's not showing that you cared about them. It's not showing that
well, maybe a little bit.
maybe, but like you have to understand like how they got to take care of the task that like, so sometimes you don't give enough information, and maybe you did that on purpose, right? Ask them a little about how they got there, and then give them a little bit of props. That's all I'm asking for.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, I wish we could keep going on this topic. There's so much to unpack on it. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments, right? And give us a little bit of feedback and about your guys' like little tidbits on this. So once again, guys, thanks again for tuning in to the Obvious Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Omar.
I'm Joey. Please be sure to like and subscribe before you exit.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. Later.
And that brings us to the end of today's Obvious Leadership episode. Remember, every great leader starts with one step, and you're already on your way. Small changes lead to significant impact. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, and remember that leadership is the key to unlocking extraordinary results.